How's it going, everybody? My name is Noe Rojas Romero. I'm the Media Marketing Director for Halo, and this is the Halo Podcast. I've been wanting to do this for a while, and now I'm able to bring it into fruition, and this is the first episode. So, without getting a little bit too much into it, hope you guys enjoy, and make sure to follow our Instagram, anything like that, and hit us up and let us know what you think. But without further ado, let's jump right into it. All right, and we're live.
We're live.
Yes.
We're live.
All right. Well, welcome, guys. This is the Halo Podcast, and this is the first episode that we're going to be recording here. I'm very excited. And I'm sure you guys already can hear, like, I am not the only one today here. I have the president and the vice president here with me. Israel, Maria, how are you guys doing?
I'm doing great. How are you, Noe?
Fantastic. Thank you so much for having us on this podcast, Noe. It's truly an honor.
Yes, of course. Like, I mean, come on, the president, vice president, how can we not have you guys here?
Right? Hello.
Yes, but, so yeah, this is something new that we're doing with Halo. This never has been done before, as far as I know, so this is very exciting. And yeah, I'm just ready to get into it. But before we get into it, I, want to see how you guys been. Like, how you guys doing? How have you guys been these days? How's the summer going? Like, what's up with you guys?
It's been busy. I just got done taking summer classes, and my gosh, I was studying from 9 in the morning to 9 at night. But I'm glad that is over. In the hot, I'm so ready for the fall. Like, I'm ready to layer up.
Hey,
you feel me?
Hey, me too. Me too. I've been traveling all summer, actually. Yeah. I thought I was going to stay in Manhattan. I said, I'm going to work this summer. Never mind. I take it back. Because I was traveling all over. I went to Austin. I know Israel went to Austin, too, different times. But, it was super, super fun. But I'm also ready to layer up. Hey, I'm not doing this 100-degree weather anymore. I'm tired of this.
I hear you.
How are you, Noe? How's your summer been?
No, it's been chill for the most part. Just like I think this is like the first time I've taken summer classes, like for the first time. So it's like, it's been a process. Like, I took in 2, and it's like one of them ended like in a month, the other one ended in 2 months. But yeah, I'm just chilling. Other than that, just been going back and forth, seeing my parents every now and then. But man, this heat is not helping. I'll tell you that. Like, guys, if you're in the Midwest,
on the same page.
From the listeners, like, it is not that fun being in the Midwest when it's summer. So
glad I'm not in Texas though, because it's worse over there.
Yeah, you mentioned Texas earlier before Israel. Well, before we start recording, but apparently it's a different ball game.
A different ball game. Noe asked me, Israel, how's the heat over there? I'm like, no way. It's Texas.
You don't even want to know.
You didn't even want to know.
No, it's like the closest, not the closest to the equator, but like as close as you can get in America. So it's like, actually, my skin is falling off my bones. Like, actually, so hot. So hot. So everybody who went to Texas this summer, I hope y'all put sunscreen on, because I definitely had, my skin was peeling. Not fun.
You get like cooked like a chicharron?
Like a chicharron. I would literally a chicharron.
Steaming and everything. Like,
yeah, for real. Yeah. Every time I entered a building, I was like, thank you. Thank you.
I've been to California. AC. Like, people say California. I thought it was going to be bad when I went there the first time, like last year. It was like nothing compared to here. Like, it was like, it was fine. Yeah, it's like, it's very dry over there, right? Yeah. And I guess, like, I don't know, it doesn't bother me. Like, here it's like very humid. Like, I'm sweating. Yeah. Like, every time I walk here to like the library, like, I wear a backpack, and like when I take it off, I'm like just.
Like,
I hate that feeling.
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to like starting classes and like having to go to the business building and like walk all over back to like every other building that's not in the business building, because the walk is a bit treacherous, if you ask me.
Really, especially going up the hill.
Oh
man, that kills me.
Yeah. The heat is no fun at all. But yeah, it's good. It's good that you guys are like bearing through the heat, and hopefully, I'm ready to bundle up.
Yeah, I'm ready.
I think it's easier to bundle up than But I don't know. But we'll see how it goes.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll
see.
Fingers crossed.
But nonetheless, let's get into today's topic. Today, we're going to talk about something that I have been thinking for a long time, and maybe you guys have been thinking for a long time, even our listeners here. And that is the Hispanic and Latinx culture but specifically like with immigration in the U.S., right?
Right.
Because we here in the Midwest, we might have met a lot of people, and there's like a similar pattern to maybe a lot of them have like a Mexican background, whether with other cultures, Venezuelan and Puerto Rican, not as much. And I've always wondered why that is, like it's like, why is it so much that, Mexico has taken up like much of like the country, right? And we're going to talk about that because we have, for our listeners, you can't see this, but we have pulled up an article done by this, I believe it's a company. It's called the Pew Research Center, and they've done research a little bit on this. Specifically, this article that we can see a diagram that even dating back all the way from the 1920, it looks like, and then all the way up till 2022. Or actually, there's more than one article. There's one that dates us back to 1920, but there's one here that's dates back to 1850, so it goes way back. And we can see this transition from 1850 all the way to 2022 to where how, the different ethnicities and population changes over time, right? So as much as I've been traveling around the world, like I've been to Iceland, I've been to Germany, and I've been to California, right?
I didn't know that.
Oh, wow.
That's
Yeah,
so
yeah.
exciting.
This is new information.
Yeah.
Oh, well, there you go. I guess so. And I just always wonder because, again, I just feel like from what I've, experienced and been told and seen, it's just like I feel like the Mexican culture is very present, right. in the U.S. And, I don't think people question enough of like why that is. And I think, this article does state it, but it's not, definite. Like there's many factors that play into it. But I think one of the factors that definitely stands out why Mexico is one of the top percentages up there is because, Mexico is right below the U.S. So like Mexico can literally just, immigration, all they have to do is like walk, right? There's many people that walked and done that, right? And to compare it to like, some other ones have like, Puerto Rican, Venezuelan, like Brazil, like that's a different country, right? So like they can't travel as easily over into the U.S. And so like we can kind of see that, like, I think if I get this map pulled up here, but so yeah, if we go to like 2022 on the map, like it shows like on the right hand side states of the U.S. it's like Dominican Republic, like Canada, India, Germany, and then like so like because I'm not saying that Latin America is like right on the right side, but it's like somewhere around
somewhere in there,
yeah. So it's like it's not doesn't I don't see it surprised that like that's where they are populating when they come over and immigrate into the U.S. But but yeah, like I want to get your guys' idea. Like do you guys feel the same of like the Mexican like are taking up much of like the population, or I guess in terms of like with immigration, or like what do you guys our thoughts on that? Like what do you guys think about that when we're looking at this article?
Well, actually I was surprised when I saw how many Mexicans especially are in the U.S. I didn't realize it because when I came to America like 2 years ago to 2022, summer 2022, I like started high school here in Manhattan High School. And there was a large Hispanic community in my high school. However, a lot of them were not Mexican. So I was kind of biased as to how many like Mexicans were in America, even though every time I went to Texas and states in the South, it was mostly Mexicans who I saw. But then once I see it in perspective, once I saw like actual statistics, I was like, oh, wow, like this is actually like we're very, very present over here. And you can definitely tell when we see like how much of a melting pot of cultures like there is in America. And I was definitely surprised also to see like how in the Midwest, like we're here. Like we're literally super prevalent in other places, not really I'm not saying that there's not a lot of Mexicans in Manhattan, but in other places like Wichita, in other places like I can't think of any other cities, but Wichita, Kansas City, there are like a really large communities of Hispanic, specifically Mexicans. But yeah, like I was really surprised, honestly. What do you think, Israel? Are you on the same boat I am?
Honestly, so from your experience, you brought up a really good point of, depending where you grow in the United States, it can really determine your perspective of the Mexican population, right? So I was born in Colorado, really Colorado, and that city has a huge, strong presence of the Mexican community. It's like you were born in Mexico, just in the Virgin United States.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah,
wow.
no, it's incredible. Truly, it's one of the best places to have like Mexican food in Colorado because everyone's right there. But I remember when my family moved to Kansas, to Junction City, Kansas, like 30 minutes away from, and it was a cultural shock. I was one of the only Mexicans in my middle school. I'm the only Mexicans throughout my high school. And that really changed my perspective. Like I know the United States has strong Mexican immigration, but it just really depends where you're at.
Right.
So when I came to Manhattan, I was used to being one of the only Mexicans. Right. So when I met people from Garden City, Dodge City, or like Colorado, Texas, they experienced the cultural shock that I experienced when I came here when I was like 6. Right. So it's really interesting to see, like, depending where you grow up, you will have a whole different experience.
Right.
You'll be a whole different person. Because depending how you grow up with your community, it changes your personality.
It does.
Yeah. It really does.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Every time I go back to Colorado, to that same place, Greeley, I actually get a cultural shock being around so many Mexicans. I'm like, why am I
wait,
Spanish?
You understand what I'm saying with my parents?
No, literally. Why is like bachata music playing or like norteños? Like they were like, wow, Mexican candy.
Yeah.
I have to fight to get those candies back in Kansas. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I feel you. I totally feel you. 'Cause when I came here, also like Manhattan, I was like, I came prepared when I moved to here because I was like, I definitely know I'm not going to be able to get, like, maseca to make tortillas. I know I'm not going to be able to get Mexican candy. But then when I came here and, like, I, like, moved in with my sisters and my cousin and another 2 roommates that were also Hispanic, they, like, put me on. They were like, no, there's a Mexican store here. And, like, there's a couple things that you could get that you thought you wouldn't be able to get. But I was like, wait a minute. So, like, we do live in Manhattan? I thought it was going to be a predominantly white community, honestly. Because I was, like, was under the impression that since it's like an agriculture dominant school, K-State is, there was going to be, a certain demographic. But then I was like, oh, wait, no. Actually, there's a lot of Hispanics that are doing the same thing I am, But I'm curious to know, what did you think when you moved here, Noe, when you moved to Manhattan?
No, yeah, I mean, like, my first experience is when I did, like, the tour, because I was touring, like, universities and seeing which one I was wanting to go to. And I think the first one I did was here, K-State. And then I drove up here 2 hours, right? And, yeah, like, actually, I think it was my freshman or orientation, or, like, when you come in and then you get the badge and they show you around. But like, when I was waiting in line, like, it was like all like white people,
like,
and it's
what?
like, like, man, I'm not seeing a lot of
people that you're used to seeing.
Yeah, like Hispanic and Latinx people. And I'm not gonna lie, it's like I've heard, like, my friends and people say many times that, like, oh, like, I feel uncomfortable when I don't have people that are like me around, and then, like, I never knew what they meant by that up until in that moment. I was like, oh, like I feel some discomfort with this, right? And again, it's something new, right? Because I never been in that environment before, and knowing that I was going to, right, at some point, it's like something that I had to get used to. But definitely, like, as I think I've been almost here a year now, and seeing that there's not as much things that I could get, back at home, like like my sweet tortillas or pupusas they have over there. Because there's this, like, sweet-ass pupusa shop in KCK. But, no, it was definitely a learning experience that, like, at times that, I mean, I didn't plan myself to be in a situation, right, of, like, all whites. But, I mean, I, wanted to put myself out there and see, where it goes. And then, like, you find your people. It's like,
you do.
I know there was going to be, like, a community here related to, like, a Latinx community and stuff like that. But I love meeting new people. So even though that was the case, like, I find it, like, okay, like, I'm going to, like, still be able to, like, meet many wonderful people here, like, regardless, right? But it is definitely mind-opening to, like, when I first came here to Manhattan, Kansas, guys, for listeners. We are not in Manhattan, New York.
Little Apple.
Yes, we gotta clarify on that. Yeah, it was definitely something that stood out to me. I was like, oh, wow, yeah, so I definitely see how you guys can see that a little bit too.
Wow.
Right.
Honestly, I really loved how you brought the experience up, because I remember Noe meeting him the first time. I think it was at our first general body meeting or second general body meeting last year.
Yeah.
And I can tell, like, wow, the fact that you came up to me, right? I was thinking,
Oh,
like,
really?
wow, Noe came up to me. I didn't know his name at the time, right?
Yeah.
But I was thinking, wow, this guy came up to me. He's eager to, like, get connected with the community. And as you were saying that, I'm like, wow, like, I remember seeing like a person who's new to Manhattan, who's new to Kansas State, and wants to be a part of his community. So I thought that was really great. And honestly, since you brought up that experience, like, what advice would you give yourself before coming to K-State with the experience that you have now?
Man, well, it's like, I think it's a little bit of inevitable to like avoid that feeling of discomfort, right? That you don't see as many like people that look like you, right? But I don't think it's necessarily a way to like be concerned or afraid or whatnot, right? It's like, I think you should welcome it with any feeling that comes with it, you know? I mean, there's no wrong way to say it. It's just, you know, just take it one step at a time. And that's like, you know, like I got there, right, in K-State, so that was like another step. Another step was to get in line for my badge, and then the other step was to follow the tour guide. It's like, you know, just go with the flow, you know. Like that's you're gonna hear me say that a lot in this podcast. It's just go with the flow. That's one of the phrases that I live by.
I love that.
Hey.
But yeah, just like, you know, don't be afraid to just like, just meet new people, even though like, of course, like that feeling when you first meet somebody, like, a little bit awkward embarrassment, you guys don't know each other, you get to know each other, like
it's part of it.
That's part of the process. Like you got to get past that in order to like, you know, build those connections. So it's like, just definitely just go with the flow. I think that's what I'd say.
I agree. I totally agree. Because you brought up a really good point. Like, it's definitely going to start off as something that's going to be uncomfortable. But if you really think about it, there's no way that you will ever be able to grow without feeling uncomfortable. Because you cannot grow inside your comfort zone. You cannot grow in complacency. So definitely being in line in that registration and like following everybody during the tour might have been uncomfortable. Also, it's not fun to like take the first step and be like going up to somebody expecting, you know, the worst. Rejection is a possibility. You know, somebody could just be like, I don't want to talk to you, bye. Which is, I mean, they're lost, honestly, because you took the first step. But all that to say that I think it's something I would really always, I think I'm going to say also in the podcast and everything, because I like to live by this, but like, you just have to be uncomfortable. You have to be comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's just that. That's honestly, hey, there's no way around that.
No. There's no way around it. And I think that what helps with the mentality is our parents. I know about your guys' parents. My parents crossed from Mexico, right? So the fact that you guys were talking about you have to be uncomfortable to change.
Right.
I sometimes think about how my parents were when they came to the United States. Because I had the privilege to be born here. So I grew up in a school that taught me to speak English.
Right.
They came into the United States without knowing the language, without knowing how anybody, without knowing how the system works. And I imagine, like, they also had the same mentality that I have to be uncomfortable if I want a better future for myself and for my kids. Yeah. So in a sense, like, that mentality of being uncomfortable, it kind of helps when you have people who will live that and are making it work for you.
Yeah, you are so right.
Yeah, our parents, we definitely went through that first. They did that.
Yeah,
they did that.
Here.
I got chills all over just hearing that, because I also, like, I stop and think, I'm like, yeah, our parents really, oh my goodness. Yeah. Like, a lot of us are first generation. A lot of us are also just, like, straight up immigrants. Like, I came here, but my dad also came to study in America. He eventually went back to work in Mexico, but he actually came to K-State. My dad is actually legacy.
Wow.
So there's that for you. But my dad came to K-State in like the 80s, late 80s. He was going to come and do his PhD. And at that time, my dad knew how to read and write in English, but he couldn't speak it. And I don't know about y'all, but like, that was definitely something that, you know, you can read and write all you want, but once you start hearing people talk to you and you have to reciprocate, you have to converse with them, and let alone study and, like, you know, defend a thesis, that's a really, really hard thing to do. And so, yeah, our parents definitely were uncomfortable. I think it's also part of everybody's journey to, feel uncomfortable at some point, because it's just part of growth. It's part of, being a better person at the end of the day. Not to get too deep, but you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, absolutely. But kudos to your dad for coming to the United States.
Yeah, he did that. Education. He ate down.
Yeah, our parents definitely have went through that whole experience with that stuff for sure when they came to the U.S. There's something I want to point out in the article here, because I'm sure you guys have noticed, Israel, Maria, that towards like the beginning, like in the 1900s, you can kind of see a gradual to where the country Germany is like really present, right?
In like the Midwest, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, it looks like in the center of the Midwest, they started to take up after 1870s, 1900s, and they kind of dipped down a little bit, but then they come back up around, looks like 1960s, 1970s. And that's something that stuck out to me when I saw this article, because it's like Germany, like what's like in the U.S., like what's up with that? Not only Germany, of course, it's like Mexico is still part of it, but Canada takes like a good chunk of like the northwest,
right? And
then there's some of Italy on the east of the country, and I'm like even a little bit of UK, Poland, Sweden, and even. Is that Alaska in Canada? Oh, God, I didn't even see that.
Oh, goodness me.
What do you guys think about that? How Germany at some point was like the majority of like, immigrations like within the U.S. at some point. What do you guys think?
Honestly, when I saw that, the whole visual, I was flabbergasted. When I saw that, I was like, Germany? Wow. Yeah. And it kind of makes sense because, with my time here in Kansas, I see a lot of my friends who are from German descent or Irish descent.
That's so true. Yes. A lot of my friends are also like, especially the friends I've met through like college, especially whenever we talk about ethnic backgrounds and stuff, they've shared that like, there are a lot of German, a lot of English. I'm like, that's crazy. And then when I saw this, I said, okay, now that makes sense.
That makes sense right there. I think one of the reasons why there was such a change, and according to the article, that before 1965, the immigration laws, it favored Europeans coming to the United States. It wasn't until 1965 and afterwards where immigration laws were more in favor of Latinos coming through. So that's why when we started looking at the 1960s and afterwards, we started seeing like a slow incline
increase
of Latinos coming up. They were like, okay, like let me go ahead and use these laws and be part of this new country. So it was really amazing to understand like how immigration laws affects a whole ethnicity.
For sure.
When it's coming to the United States.
Yeah.
Right. But what do you guys think over that?
No, I mean, like, I'm just looking, like, at the graphic, and it's just, like, it starts, like, right at 1980s. This is, like, when Mexico, like, just starts taking the population.
Taking over,
And it's just, like, the whole thing at the point. And it's just, I don't know, just seeing that gradual change. And, I think, because it also mentions here that between World War I and World War II is where we see the kind of dip with Germany. Because, that they were also affected with that, too. So that probably plays a factor into, like, why they kind of took over a little bit more at some point. But, no, I mean, eventually Mexico does take the majority of the country as we see going by. And I think Canada is the second group that takes over after Mexico.
Oh, really?
Like the second largest group.
Yeah.
But I mean, again, Canada is like above us, so it's like it's no surprise that they can just do that too. But no, it's I don't know, it's interesting. I don't know. That's something to me. Maybe I'm biased because I've been to Germany and like.
Oh, so sorry.
Oh, wow.
I don't know. Maybe that's why it sits out to me. But I don't know. It's just like again, because like that's Europe. Like what is Europe doing in the U.S. at that time? But then again, it's like this was during like the 1800s, 1900s. So like those were different times. So it's like seeing the laws that passed by and like the world wars that did happen, I can see like how that came to be. But Maria, what do you think about that?
I totally share your sentiment. Like, it was actually kind of crazy. But then once we start looking at historical context about like how, like the reasoning behind why Germany was like so prevalent, we start understanding so many things. Also, how that historical context affected immigration laws and everything around that. But it was just so crazy because also I'm seeing here, like, Mexico remained the largest country of birth for immigrants in 29 states in 2022. I'm curious to see how it is in 2024. I'm thinking maybe it's similar. I think it might be the largest country of birth. Because
Yeah.
honestly, more and more I travel to other states, the more and more I meet other Mexicans too. Like I just went to Oregon a couple weeks ago. No, not even a couple weeks ago. Maybe 2 weeks ago. And I went to a Mexican restaurant, and then the server was Mexican, and she knew I was Mexican because you can definitely tell when I start speaking. When I start feeling real comfortable, I start dropping my accent a little bit, you know? But it's so nice whenever I get to like interact with other people who also immigrated. And I went to another restaurant that was not Mexican at all, but like the server was also also happened to be Mexican. And it's so nice having that conversation of like, oh, where are you from in Mexico? And they're like, oh, Puerto Vallarta, oh, Guadalajara. And I'm like, oh, I'm from Monterrey and stuff like that. And they're like, so what are you doing here? You know, but it's like, it's always so fun. Too? Yeah, exactly. I could ask you the same thing, but you know, we're all here to work and whatnot, and like, you know, try to live the, you know, alleged American dream. But yeah, it's so interesting. So interesting.
Yeah, definitely. I just, you know, when this information comes, I mean, into my mind, it's just like, oh, I never thought of that before.
Right.
But you kind of just mentioned my next thing I wanted to ask you guys, Maria, and that is like, what do you guys think this is going to be, how it's going to look like in the future? Like maybe 5-10 years from now, do you think it's going to stay the same? Like, do you think Mexican is like, Mexico's still going to take the majority? Or like, what do you think it's going to change? Like, what do you guys think?
I saw not that long ago, but let me try to find it. I don't know if I can right at this moment. But I saw this crazy statistic that said like, let me try to remember accurately. I'll refer back to this actual. Don't quote me, y'all. But it said something like by 2030, like 1/3 of the kids or something like that are gonna be of Hispanic descent. So that's like, oh my God, we've spawned. Yes. You know, like everybody's gonna be like of Hispanic heritage. And I think that's really going to be the case. Honestly, I feel like even if we continue to like start moving to other states that are not as predominantly Hispanic, I feel like we're still going to manage to in some sort of way, you know, move around the country and start seeing a lot like a bigger Hispanic demographic. And I think that's really going to be the case, honestly. I feel like there's going to be, you know, Colombians everywhere and Venezuelans everywhere, especially because you know, a lot of South American countries are not doing too well politically, and so things are gonna change a lot, and people are gonna try to move to different places to look for better and brighter futures. And I feel like, you know, that's definitely gonna affect how many familiar faces we see.
Right.
So, yeah, let me look for the statistic, though. I'm not trying to look like a fool in the podcast.
I saw something similar. It was like by 2050. Yeah. It was around the same numbers as well. So I do wholeheartedly believe that, to answer your question, the demographics will become stronger for the Hispanic population.
Right.
And all around. And, you know, when you ask that question, no way, also it gave me a perspective of, when I was reading the article, I didn't initially thought that when immigrants come over, how in the future generations that would affect the demographics of that said country. Yeah. But when I was reading this article, I'm like, wow, like this many Mexicans came over, or there's like this many immigrants. Then you look at the visuals of how the country's demographics has changed. It speaks of the immigrants, because when they have children, they're going to live in the United States, and when those children have children, they're going to be in the United States as well.
Right.
So over time, demographics will be changing to that proportion of immigrants that came over. And I was like, that's so crazy, you know?
Yeah.
But I do think by like 2050, the Latino population will be
really
incredibly
prevalent.
strong.
Yeah.
I can't really find it. I'll definitely try to, you know, find it for real. But I can give you a number. By the United States Census Bureau, they said that the Hispanic population of the United States, as of July 1st of 2022, is of 63.7 million people, which makes us like the largest racial or ethnic minority.
Wow.
Which is crazy.
Wow.
Absolutely is.
It's 19.1% of the population.
19.1.
And so if it's 19.1% in the percent of the population now, you know, 20, 10, like 30 years from now is going to be, you know, I think bigger than that, way bigger than that.
Yeah, yeah. I
Absolutely.
definitely see that increasing up. And I mean, who knows? Like maybe some historical event might happen.
Right.
That could
Change a
fluctuate
lot of
that number
things.
for sure.
For sure.
Um, there is something that I do want to bring up a little bit, because we mentioned it. Well, geez, I don't know how it was brought up, but I wanted to mention about because I said I love meeting new people. That's so cliche, right?
Oh.
No, but it's like even though you meet a lot of people that have the same background,
Yes.
they're Mexican American, right? And that's the same culture, right? We're still different in our own way, because I think the most beautiful thing is how two people can come together and share how they were grown up, how they were taught in the different educational systems they are, and different political systems, environment. It's different, right? Because how I was taught in different could be different than how maybe my friend was taught, right? That's also
Right.
Mexican. It's yes, it's similar, but it's different in a way, because each parent has different teaching styles, and then maybe even though we agree that conchas are really good, right? Still there's still a difference, right? So it's not as the sense that oh, we're all the same, all Mexicans are all the same. No, there is a difference, because we
Yeah.
each have our unique ways of communicating with one another, and just showing off our personality. That's
Right.
It's not the same. There could be some similar ways in maybe how you dress, but still, it's I don't think there's nothing but identical. Nothing's identical.
Yeah, no, nothing
No one's
is.
identical. Everybody is different in their own way, and I just think it's wonderful to express those differences, because I think it's
Yeah.
interesting to definitely learn about that within each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's something that I don't know. I just wanted to mention, because I think it's just I don't know. I love the process of just learning those differences. For the listeners don't know, I'm an anthropologist major, so
Period.
that's basically all my study. So that kind of rubs off a little bit on me, but no, I love the process of doing that ever since my study abroad trip to Iceland. I remember meeting those locals, and just I wanted to hear those stories of how they grew up, and different, just learn the difference, even though
Right.
I'm pretty sure the languages, the words they were translating us probably didn't mean what they meant, but but it's I love that, right? They're people are being people. I mean, they were kids, but I think that's definitely something that people should just take into account whenever they are just meeting new people,
Right.
and maybe just talking about that's not maybe Venezuelan, Puerto Rican, even though they might come from the same country, we're just different. So
We are.
Absolutely. Mexico is a huge
Hey,
country.
People
Yeah.
underestimate how big Mexico
No,
is.
Yeah.
literally.
Because I feel like whenever you say oh, I'm from Mexico, they immediately think something along the lines of, oh, I'm from Cancun or something. I don't know. I feel like a lot of people are not as aware of how different it is to be from the north side of Mexico, where I'm
Yes.
from the south, or from the
Right.
center or the coasts. It's so different. Just as how you would think how a southern person in America is different from somebody from the West Coast.
Right.
But you mentioned something really good, Noe, of that we're not identical. All Hispanics are not identical. Even not all Mexicans are identical.
Right.
And it's a really good thing to think about, because I think of my amazing executive board that we have this year. Everybody pretty much is from somewhere super, super different. So we have a couple Mexicans, we have the three of us. But we also have a Puerto Rican girl. We have a Venezuelan. We have a Cuban. We have so many different backgrounds in our executive board. And we've also talked to different people who are from different parts of Latin America who we've had in our general body meeting from the spring. And we've also learned so many things about their
Yes.
countries.
Yes.
And it's so amazing to think about, because it's also within the same country, you have so many similarities, but also so many stark differences that really make up the person.
Yeah.
And I do share that passion about learning about people, because I'm a sociology major. I'm also a social science kind of geek.
Hey.
I love that.
But it's so nice to go through that process of like learning about somebody, learning about their background and their culture and how they live, like their philosophy of life. That's not to get too deep, y'all. I'm not trying to lose y'all from listening, but
I
you know,
can go with you, Maria. Days on that. I can.
But it's so like amazing to see how people live, like their lifestyle and everything, which is starting off by where they were born and how they were brought up and stuff. But yeah, what do you think, Israel? Are we getting too deep right now?
Man, you guys are bringing up so many points. I was just patient and listen. Like, wow, let me just take notes. Right here. Let me just click my favorite.
Yeah, Israel has an amazing pink pen, y'all.
Yeah, that's kind of giving me headaches. I gotta get a new one.
Oh, I'll give you one.
I really appreciate that. But you brought a really good point because I've been in Halo, or the organization we're part of, for like 3 years now. And this is the first time ever where I see such a diverse group of executive members. And it's truly a privilege. Because now we're getting unique perspectives on how like everybody thinks, how everybody talks, how everybody celebrates their different ways. It's truly an amazing time to be part of Halo, as well as get to know the future gender body members.
Exactly.
As well. And then you guys talked about, you know, how people grow up, how people think, their philosophies. You know, those conversations are always fascinating because there's so many factors that can determine how you think and how you perceive life. Whether that be like the location, the language, the ways that your parents raised you, and it's really fascinating to see how overall that can impact on how you think and how you navigate through life.
Exactly.
Yeah, we could go into a deep talk right now. We could just throw
away
the whole topic.
No, I mean, like Israel, I love what you brought up because, like, I mean, that's the goal of this podcast. Like, again, we all have different perspectives. Like, not just me, like as a Mexican American, but like Israel, Maria, and all the other exec members in Halo also too, and not just the members either, but like the members of the organization, right? Not just execs. Like, we would love to have you guys on the podcast too, but it's just like. Again, because it's like, even though I think a certain way of some topic or like, I know of something, it not be the same to you or to anybody, right? So it's like, I think that's like a great way to just like break the ice into like, what's going on within like the Hispanic and Latinx communities, like not just here in Manhattan, Kansas, in K-State, but also just like more broadly, like, in Kansas or in the U.S. or even go even further beyond, like in Puerto Rico or Venezuela, because like, as much as like things are happening here in the U.S., in a way it could be affecting the other country too. Like hearing their, maybe it could be like, your Venezuelan, the soccer team is like doing good, and like they're celebrating, they do like really big celebrations here for that in the U.S. and it's like you can see like it's celebrated everywhere, wherever that population is present, but yeah, I love that. Just bringing people together and just sharing that. I just love it.
I'm so excited for this year, y'all. It's like so exciting. We keep talking about so many things that are so like, it just fills my heart. It honestly makes me feel so warm talking about all these things. And I'm so excited to be working with you guys. And I'm also so excited for everybody who's listening to hear what everybody else has to say about like, everything Halo, but everything outside of Halo. I'm so excited for y'all to hear everybody who's in our executive board participate, or anybody who's wanting to collaborate, everybody has such a great mind, and I'm so interested in like listening what they have to say. But I can't be sharing this podcast with the like better people. Honestly, Israel and Noe are like the goats for real.
Okay. You're too sweet. You're too sweet.
Really
on the microphone.
No, I mean, you said it all. I mean, like, yeah, I'm so privileged to like share this podcast with you because it's like for Halo, but of course just for the communities, you know, because it's not just us here. There's so many people that, I don't know, somewhere in California or Montana, they'd be listening to this, and they were like, I mean, who knows? I mean, who knows who's listening to these episodes? But I definitely can't wait to hear what you guys think, listeners. I can't wait to see what you guys have.
Please let us know.
Yes, please let us know. But with that being said, that is going to be it for this episode. Thank you so much for you guys joining, listening. I hope you guys enjoyed what we talked about, and hopefully have some of those questions answered, because I know definitely I had after learning all this in an article. But yeah, Israel, Maria, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you, Noah.
You
Thank
guys enjoyed
you.
as much as I did because I had a blast.
Hey, I was like, let's keep the ball going, guys.
No, absolutely.
No, I can keep
Time was
talking for days
fast.
about philosophy, but
Yeah, no.
we'll maybe have to make that
We'll save it for another day.
another day.
Another day, another
day.
dollar.
Yes.
Ooh, that's good.
But thank you so much, guys, for listening. You can find us on our Instagram with Halo. And yeah, just make sure you guys listen out and tune in on the next one. So until then, peace out.
All right, peace out. Take care.
Bye, y'all.
Bye-bye.
Stay blessed.